Guys, welcome back. I'm working on the Stargate slash Tetris cabinet here. First thing I want to do is get this monitor ready to be mounted into the cabinet. What I need to do is I cut a piece of wood here. So I cut a piece of wood that fits inside this square opening of the monitor, and I drilled 4 holes through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some silicone, and I want to put some silicone in here to help hold this block in place in case the screws were to ever come loose. Because what I plan on doing is I plan on taking another piece of wood like this through here, and then I am going to screw the wood through this piece of wood. And I got a piece of dried silicone in here. There we go. Okay, so I have some screws here. They're not the exact thread. Those are some sort of a metric thread in there, but it looks like it's going to go in. Let's get them started. Thought they were lining up. I wonder if I put the block in the wrong angle, wrong way. Now this drill doesn't have a super ton of torque. So it's not like it's gonna break the bolt or anything like that. But at least with these threaded in there tight and that silicone in there, once that silicone dries, it's really gonna hold it. So now I need to make a cross brace in the cabinet here. I need to make a cleat here and here, and then just take another piece of plywood and go across there that I could screw from the back of the plywood into the back of the monitor piece of plywood. But first I'm going to have to do the glass. Reason being is I need to put the glass in. I have to look around and see what I have for glass. I need to put the glass in, and I want to put the screen bezel. I want to stick it to the glass so that then I can hold my monitor up to the glass and get it pretty close. I'm not going to cut the opening bigger on that monitor cutout yet. I'm going to leave it small like that. Put it up here, get the monitor where I want it, and then mount the monitor. And then once the monitor is mounted, I could go back with a marker and then cut out the screen bezel a little bit bigger to the edge of the monitor so that it's a nice even fit and everything. So let me go see what I have for glass. I think I have, I don't know if this had a piece of tinted glass on it or what, or if it even had a piece of glass, but let me see what I have and I'll be back. Okay, I found a piece of lightly tinted glass. It's just really lightly smoked, which I think is going to look good. So this is the top. There's some paint on the edge on the bottom side, but I'm not worried about it because this has got a full color over top, so you're never going to see it. And I'm going to space this out so that there's a little bit of gap of glass on the bottom and top, because this slides into a channel behind the control panel. So I'm not too worried about that. And if for some reason it were to show, like let's say we put it together and you saw this bare glass, you can always paint the back of it black down there if I needed to, but I think we're going to be just fine. So I'm just going to kind of even it up here. And I'm going to have to grab a couple clamps. Okay, I want to lightly clamp this down. Just enough to keep it from wiggling around, because obviously it's glass, so we don't want to go crazy with it. Okay. Now remember, we had him put that pre-mask on the front of this. Remember to lift up so you don't scratch your glass or your plexiglass, whatever you're using. Now we're just going to take these two corners and kind of just set it down evenly as possible. Don't drop it like that. Can't tell if the pre-mask has a bubble or if the artwork does. You can put liquid down if you want to. I'll be right back. I got somebody coming. Okay, let's pull these. I think I got this all good now. So let's pull the clamps off and we'll stick the bottom part. You can always rub on it a little bit more if we need to. Okay, let's get this pre-mask off of here so we can see what it looks like. See if we have any bubbles in it or not. And it looks pretty darn good, couple little bubbles. Okay, trim these edges down. All right, let's see what it looks like in there. And I know that when the control panel comes up, it should be perfect. And then the marquee comes to here, so the speaker grill thing. So now we can figure out where we have to mount that monitor in there. And like I said, once I get the monitor pushed up against the glass, we can cut back where we need to cut back to, and hopefully it's not too wide. I didn't think about that. Let's see what we got here. 15 inches. Might be too wide. No, it's good. It's actually perfect width. I don't think I'll have to trim right to left. I think just up and down. So I need to figure out whereabouts this is going to get mounted. I gotta get this off this cart that's rolling around on me, but I gotta get that, figured that out. Let me get this off this cart, because this thing's gonna be sliding all over the shop if I don't. It's gonna make it real hard to work on. Figure out where the heck the cart is underneath it. There we go, now it won't roll around on me. Makes it nice for working on them, but or rolling them in and out of the spray booth and stuff, but definitely not ideal when you're trying to put a monitor in it and the cabinet's moving around as you're leaning against it. So this is gonna be a little tricky. I mean, it's not gonna be easy, but I will get it. Figure out how I'm gonna do it. So I think what I want to do is, the guy that this cabinet is for is a taller guy. So I want to put the monitor up higher. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bottom edge, and that's going to be the bottom of the monitor. A couple little bubbles here, but those will come out. So I'm going to make the bottom of the monitor here, and obviously these are the two sides. So we're just going to have to cut off the top, and it looks like we're probably going to have to cut off a couple inches up here, which I'm fine with. Like I said, I'd rather have the monitor a little bit higher. And plus we're just cutting out of the blue. We're not getting rid of the colored stuff down there. So what I need to do is measure the thickness of the monitor, the plastic bezel that goes around the screen. I need to measure the bottom of it here. See how thick this is. And it looks like it's just under 3/4. So it's between 5/8 and 3/4. It's closer to the 5/8 side. So we'll probably just split the difference. We'll probably just go 3/4. If it hangs down 1/16 of an inch, you're never gonna see that on the screen. So basically I need to measure down 3/4 of an inch from the artwork on the glass. So let me grab a marker. Okay, so basically I need to come down 3/4 of an inch. So now I know the height. Then I need to figure out the depth of this thing. So basically, this is sitting on the stool. Okay, so that plywood is perfectly sitting on the metal stool. So I need to measure up from there to the front of the monitor. 3 1/8 of an inch, 3 inches and 1/8. So I know that my cleat has to go back that far, that I have to put on the side of the cabinet here. Now, all this stuff I'm doing to this cabinet is not harming the cabinet one bit. This thing can totally be turned back into a Stargate if it ever were to be turned back into it. The artwork could be peeled off, stencils could be painted on, or vinyl artwork, depending on what the people wanted to do. I'm not getting rid of any of this tray for the monitor or any of that stuff. I'm not getting rid of these cleats, nothing. Leaving it all there. We're just retrofitting this in here for now. So what I'm doing is I'm measuring from the back of the glass back 3 1/8 inches. On both sides, I'm going to do that. Okay, so I know that is the very farthest point back that the monitor is going to go. So, that being said, I need to put my cleat in front of this. It needs to go here, because if I put it back here, that's going to set the monitor back 3/4 of an inch farther back, and we don't want that. We don't want a big gap between the monitor and the glass. We want the monitor to kind of be up to the glass, just so that there's no gap and you're looking through the side of it or anything like that. So I need to cut a couple cleats of wood that we can staple in here on each side, and then we'll cut. I have a strip of plywood there. It's about 6 inches tall. We're just going to leave it 6 inches tall, and we're just going to go straight across, and we're going to nail it to the cleats, or screw it to the cleats, and then we'll screw the monitor through that 6-inch strip of plywood through the back of the piece of plywood on the monitor. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to get the glass out of there, I think, for now, so that we can get the cleats installed. And I have to figure out the height here still. I have to figure that out for setting the monitor for the right height. So let me measure from, there's a piece of cleat of wood back here behind the glass. I think my lenses on my camera are fogging up. 3 inches down. Okay, so I know that from this cleat to this mark right here is 3 inches. So we need to set the monitor 3 inches up from this cleat. I'll write that down somewhere so I don't forget that. So let me get the glass out and cut a couple cleats, and I'll be back. Okay, so I cut a couple cleats out of plywood. Now we can line them up on those marks, and I'm gonna staple them into the side. I'm not gonna screw it. I'm definitely not gonna glue it, because I don't want to ruin the plywood on the inside of the cabinet, like I said, if it ever were to get changed back. So I have 1¼ inch staples in my stapler, and we're going to nail this plywood right into the side here. Now keep in mind, these are 1¼ inch staples. 3/4 and 3/4 is 1.5 inches, so we should be just fine without going through the outside of the cabinet, because we have 1/4 inch of clearance. And if I put a decent amount of staples, it'll hold it just fine. Okay, and that feels nice and rigid. No marks on the outside of the cabinet, so it didn't go too far through the wood. I kind of like that about these Bauer staplers and nailer, is they're not powerful enough to really sink the nail or the staple real far into the wood, so it works out better. My DeWalt ones I use for other stuff will definitely sink in the wood farther, and you have to be a little bit more careful as to how big of a staple you want to use. Same thing with an air nailer. If you're using an air nailer, it's going to set the staple more than one of these will. So it's all things you want to keep in consideration, because that's the last thing you want to do is staple through your artwork, or do this stuff first. Then you don't have to worry about that, because if you do this first and you mess up, you can always fix it before your artwork goes on. Okay, those are on. Now, I have a piece of plywood cut for my cleat here that's going to go across. I did make it pretty snug. And honestly, I think I might just staple this in too, because the monitor itself is going to get screwed in. So the monitor could still come out even if this stuff is stapled in. Because sometimes, because those cleats aren't really big and they're plywood, if I start drilling holes and screws through it, I could potentially crack them, and the staples aren't going to crack like the screws will. So I think I'm better off to just staple that cross piece in. So now I need to kind of measure on this monitor here. Let's measure maybe the sort of the center here from the bottom. It's about 6 5/8. Now I have to do some math here, because remember, we got to come up 3 inches off that cleat. So basically we're going to come up 3 inches off the cleat, and then we're going to go 6 5/8 to the center, roughly. Now this is wider than the back of the monitor, so that helps. So 3 plus 6 5/8, we're at 9 5/8. Should be about the height that this needs to be at. And that looks pretty good right there. Of course, I don't have my marker on me. Hopefully I can just get a staple in here. Okay. And if this is a hair off, it's not going to matter because this, like I said, this is about 2 inches wider than what the back of that monitor piece of plywood is. So we have a little bit of adjustment there. Okay, so now that we have that in there, now it's going to get a little bit tricky. What I need to do is figure out what my height difference is from this cleat to this sheet of plywood. Well, no, I think I can do it a different way. Let's go around front. It's kind of hard to explain this, but I forgot that that monitor is going to be out here farther. So technically, I should be able to hold it right here and raise it up 3 inches. Still got to measure it right to left. Darn it. I was kind of hoping that marker would have reached in there and made a mark on that plywood. I'm gonna see if I can find something that's 3 inches thick. So I can just kind of set it on that ledge right there, or I'm gonna cut something 3 inches thick. Because then I could just set it on top of this cleat and set the monitor on it and it'll kind of hold it in place. Okay, I cut a 3 inch strip of plywood. Now the problem is holding it all in place without dropping the monitor. Okay, we need to get our left to right measurements here. Okay, I need to measure real quick this monitor glass. Hopefully that doesn't fall. 4 3/4 over from this side. Okay, I'm happy with that. Looks square, looks straight. I need to figure out how I'm going to mark the back of this so I know where to screw it in at. Or do I just go for it? Just afraid that's going to fall on me. I don't need the monitor to hit the floor and I have to get another monitor out. Guess I could put 1 staple in there to kind of hold it, maybe 2 staples. Because those can always get pried back out. If they need to. have one in the center. That's all I'm gonna put. I'm gonna go grab a couple of screws so we can screw this in. Okay, I'm using 1 1/4 inch exterior screws because that plywood's 3/4, so that's 1.5 inches. All right, let's get that glass. Put it in there and see how it looks. Beautiful. I like that. That looks good. And we're a hair away down here, so that if somebody pushes on the glass, they're not going to hit the power button and turn their monitor off. So now we need to determine what the height is from here. It looks like I have to trim a little bit off the bottom. Looks like I'm going to have to take a little bit off the bottom. So I think I should probably do that first. And I might just freehand cut it. Looks like if I go right to this line right here, better. That's good. Now I can measure up from there, and I have another monitor laying on the floor, so I'm going to measure that real quick. 12 inches. So we need to go from what I just cut up 12 inches. Okay. Now I need a straight edge. Okay. Now obviously if you're not good freehanding cutting, use your straight edge on the bench, take your glass out and cut it on there. I would recommend doing that. Beautiful. Okay, now our monitor is in place. That's basically the hardest thing left to do on this cabinet. Now, let's get the power supply and the circuit board and the converter board and all that put in the cabinet. Now on this cabinet, I'm not going to show you guys me cleaning up the coin door and the hinge and stuff like that. I'm just gonna do this one off camera. And then when I finish up my Stargate, we'll do all the metal pieces with that one. There's no point in showing it twice. I want to just get this done. So I'm just going to do this one off camera, and then on mine we'll do on the camera, obviously. So let me get set up here, and we will get the power supply mounted in the cabinet. We'll get the wiring harness in there. We'll get the converter board in there. We'll get it all hooked up, and we'll get it turned on, make sure it's working. And then we'll probably end this video because the next video I will be putting the metal parts on and the marquee and all that. Now the marquee, oh, I'm sorry, the bottom of the speaker, these have a big speaker grill on the bottom, and they were plastic when they made them at first. We don't have one for this cabinet. I could bend one out of steel. He said don't worry about it, just put a speaker grill over the speaker. So I guess that's what I'm going to do. We're just going to paint that bottom side of the plywood black. It's already black, but we'll go over it one more time. And I'll probably just rivet a speaker grill or screw a speaker grill into it, something flat, like a flat piece of metal, and just leave it like that. He said he wasn't worried about it. So it's fine by me. I don't feel like spending a bunch of time bending a piece of metal and everything for that. So, all right, let me get set up and I'll be back. Okay, I think I have the power supply where I want to put it. I'm just going to put it right here. You got to be kind of figure out where you want to put it because you have that converter board. And I'm going to put the converter board and the circuit board over here on this right side. So let's mount the power supply down. Using 1/2 inch long screws so it does not go through the wood anywhere. Get this mounted next. VGA out, we might as well have that going upwards. We have our power right here. Let's plug this in so that we can kind of put it in a location to where I can kind of get to it easily and kind of tie the wires up a little bit so it doesn't look so bad. Maybe I should put it back here. Nah, should I put it down here? That's mounted. Now we get these little tabs here for the circuit board. And I'm not going to show me tying up all the wires and everything. I'll just show you what it looks like after I get them all cleaned up. Some of the stuff that's been repetitive, I'm trying to not make so repetitive. Okay, JAMA harness, here's our power wire, that's going to come out there, like that. Plug in our JAMA harness, make sure it's going the right direction. And what we can do is we can take these wires, these are our control panel wires, I believe, yep. Now I got to try to untangle this mess. Try to get these two separated. I don't know what this yellow wire is all about, but we'll leave it in there for now because I'm not sure. So let's take these and flip them to the front of the cabinet, stick them out the coin door for now, just so that they're out of the way, because then we can fasten this up like that. Here are our video wires right here. I think this is speaker wires. These are our video wires. long, but we will get them tied up. This yellow one we're not using. I'm actually going to eliminate it from the plug. Okay. VGA cable. And like I said, I'm gonna have to put a power strip in here because I have to plug the monitor in and potentially the marquee light, depending on what I use for a marquee light. If I put a power strip in here, I'll make sure it's a surge protector. Now, typically, I'm gonna go them this way. And then what we can do is we can strap this underneath the shelf. Hopefully I can get to these plugs. Yep. Okay, that's plugged in. Power wire for our monitor. We'll take that the same direction. That plugged in, and that's going to come like this, and it'll come over here to a power strip somewhere. Okay, so basically, let me grab an extension cord. We can plug this in and see what it looks like. Okay, I got quite a bit of the wires tied up in there. Got a little bit more to go. This is the power strip I'm going to use. This is, I think, 2100 joules or whatever the heck it's called as a surge protector. So let's turn this on and we'll see what it looks like. On the screen here, let me turn off the lights. There it is. Looks cool. Looks real nice. I think that doesn't look bad at all with that slightly frost or smoked glass. Turn the lights back on. So basically now what I'm going to do is end this video. While I'm off camera, I'm going to, oh, you know what? Maybe we'll hook up the speaker real quick. Here's the wires for the speaker. So these plug in to this plug that is back here. This red and white wire right here. So we gotta plug these two together, and I need to put this up to the speaker. Oh, we can't plug in the speaker because I don't have it up there yet. So I guess I won't be doing that. So basically, let's end this video here. I just wanted to show you guys how I was gonna mount the monitor. Basically, that's what this video is about. I'm gonna do all the metal parts off camera, and then I'm gonna come back and we are going to install the control panel, all the metal parts and all that onto the cabinet and finish it up. So there'll be one more video on this, and this thing's gonna be finished up. Today I'm gonna get the metal parts all painted and ready to go. They're gonna get spray canned with Krylon matte finish. I have to do the hinge for here, the hinge for the back door, the bottom of the speaker grill area, the brackets that hold the marquee, and the coin doors. So the coin door and the bottom coin door. So that's what I need to get done today off camera, and then we'll come back probably tomorrow and we'll get this thing wrapped up. So if you guys are liking what you're seeing, please like, subscribe, share, hit the thumbs up. Any questions or comments, feel free to ask. Other than that, I will see you guys later.